Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, 1970s Sex Hunter, the Stray Cat Rock series. This is the film Sex Hunter from the Stray Cat Rock series. There are 5 films in this series, and this is the third one, Sex Hunter. And as you can see on the front here, and this is, I believe, actually, well, this is the hat she's wearing in this particular film. It's Miko Kaji. Miko Kaji is um, is in this film. I believe she's in all of these films, and there's 5 total. I've already reviewed the Delinquent Girl Boss, Wild Jumbo, and now tonight is 1970s Sex Hunter. Now the interesting thing is, I believe these first 3 films so far have all been in 1970, and I'm not sure if all of the films are in the same year, but very interesting so far that they were all filmed in the same year. Some just different months. Sex Hunter is a very unique film in the Stray Cat Rock series so far, where we essentially have a film of the standard girl gang, but we also have, the guy gang as well, a gang of men, and their interactions with each other. But we have a heavy dose of violence and sexual violence and hatred and rage that ensues race, over racism, basically half breeds of Japanese people, half breeds, people who are in black and white relations, the loose term mulatto, but people that are mixed and not purely that race. And we have some huge race issues in Sex Hunter that breeds the violence and the chaos and the wildness of this film. Now, Sex Hunter's music, it's really 70s exploitation gold. Funky, jazzy, moving, wild, in your face. I mean, this film, I really see it almost it reminded me of a film that Tarantino probably loves or is very influenced by, if that gives you any indication. The music is very in your face, exploitation, groovy, and very powerfully wild, if you understand what I'm saying. Great music for the girl gang to line up before they fight. That kind of music as they're walking together. Um, we also have some pieces of sung music in here as well. And the sung music, now she's done some singing in some of the other Stray Cat Rock films. Miko Kaji here, she does some singing, and it's very different than the music that's in the film. It's very soft and introspective and folky, and she sings it with another guy in the film. So we also have some of that. I mean, it almost turns into a loose, slightly musical for those sections while there is singing, but it's not musical singing. It's more very introspective in the context of the story, and it's a breather in the story as they're getting a breather, but it is a very forlorn, hopeless, yet romantic breather. The cinematography and the style in this film really matches the film. This is a very high energy Stray Cat Rock film. There is a ton of action and violence and fighting in general and shooting. This is a really, really wild film. And the style reflects that. Now, I want to mention one other thing about the music. In the opening credits, they mention an all-girl pop band. This girl band is kind of performing and singing and dancing in this club that they go to, this Japanese club. There's also kind of this kind of this half-breed club also, where Mama's in charge. But this is like the main club, and it looks like the same club from Delinquent Girl Boss, Stray Cat Rock. Psychedelic type of club, lots of neon colors, lots of kind of go-go dancing vibes, and this all-girl pop band, which seems to have been a real all-girl pop band in Japan. Although it looks like there were some American girls in there, I'm not sure. Their sung lyrics are on the screen, and it's kind of groovy, poppy, 70s groovy music, but the lyrics are uber sexual. I mean, would be extremely looked at as offensive today to women and to even Asian people, but very, very sexual lyrics from the all-girl pop band. So that was really shocking when I was reading the lyrics, and they're smiling, and they're in their kind of these mini skirts that are all matching with each other. So an all-girl pop band, basically talking about sucking and sex and popping cherries and things like that. Pretty freaking wild. Now, to get back to the cinematography and the style of this film, we have very high energy, and we have a couple sequences in here that really, really stand out. There's one particular sequence where we're learning a little bit about the history and a little bit about the beginning of some bad race relations. And it's done in such, I've never seen anything quite like it before. Just a splatter of blood on the screen, and it stays there while all these images are moving around it. It's kind of a flashback, and that splattered blood, the images that are happening behind it are kind of you know, high contrast, black and white, kind of hard to see what's going on purposely. So very, very interesting. There's also one of the, I've never seen anything quite like this, where the people in the film are the strobe lights. And what I mean by that is, in a shootout sequence in this film, there's a person over here and there's a person over here, and they keep flashing back and forth. The camera's cutting back so quickly that it's strobing on the screen. I've never seen anything quite like it before. Pretty wild stuff, actually, and very, very high energy. You get some zooms, a lot of reverse zooms when you're portraying the environment, but a lot of very close up face shots. The camera is really close to people's faces in this film as well. Now, in terms of the violence of this movie, so far in the Stray Cat Rock series, this is definitely the most violent. Now, there's always shocking violence in the Stray Cat Rock series from what I've seen so far. But this one is the most consistently violent, and there is such rage and hatred amidst everyone. I mean, this movie starts with violence, and the title sequence of this film has a lot of great style, because there's some movie, and then the title sequence happens, and the title sequence has movement and stillness, on the credits. So really very, very powerful, especially with the kind of the title track of the movie, which is this very, very exploitation-y 70s Tarantino sounding type, something he would use in one of his films. And there is, you know, punching, kicking, punching women punching each other, stabbing each other, shooting each other. Something that I found really, really interesting in this film, and in all the Stray Cat Rock films really so far, is that the violence is very dark, it's very abrasive, it's very real violence. But amidst that is some interesting tone at times, where it's really shown in this film, Sex Hunter, where you kind of have the girl gang in the film being violent with each other, like really being violent with each other, and then quickly making up soon after and laughing it off. But they really are, they use violence in their day-to-day life to resolve issues, to ask for forgiveness, to you know, if they disagree with something that someone is saying. I mean, it's very, very interesting. Um, and it makes this whole world of violence. And then you also have a kind of a fun tone in here as well. And so far in the Stray Cat Rock series, this is my favorite movie with her. She is so powerful in this film, and beautiful, and wild, and interesting and mysterious, and definitely a leader in this film. She's really, really something. And in terms of the sexuality of this film, there's some topless nudity. There is some attempted raping going on, orgy of raping going on, but there's no nudity in that. We even have some Molotov cocktails in this film as well with violence. But there is that level of sexuality in this film, where attempted raping and kind of a sex parties and things like that. It's pretty brutal. It's just violent, and it's not like it's lingering on it, but it's just violent. There's rage there, and this could almost be looked at as the Asian Jungle Fever film, that film by Spike Lee, where we have Japanese women who are in love with men who are not pure Japanese or pure Asian. So and it causes controversy and it causes violence. And of course, just like all of the other Stray Cat Rock films, the ending of this film is quite shocking, and it happens in the daytime. And this is a film that takes you through. I mean, it's very shocking. There are twists and turns, and right when you think it's over, it's not. And there's violence. These films tend to end with violent escapades that shock you and throw you out of your seat and keep you on the edge. And this one was a violent, especially something that happens, the last piece of violence in the film. And what a stylistic choice to end the film utilizing her hat, her big black looking hat, which is so freaking cool. She's very attractive. And if you like her look, she just has a very attractive vibe about her. And you know, this is definitely a wild film, and the dialogue is wild. The dialogue, there's a lot of fucks in the dialogue, just like in the other Stray Cat Rock films. And the dialogue is very sexual too. They're always talking about, oh, I would have had sex with you, or I would have, you know, fucked you, or something like that in the subtitles of a screen. So it's very interesting how that works too. This is Stray Cat Rock Sex Hunter, and this is part of the Arrow Video box set. This is what I bought this on a half price off sale, but this is a limited edition box set that has all 5 Stray Cat Rock films, and this is Sex Hunter from 1970. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like this one. Please feel free to check out all my other reviews in this YouTube page. Tons of Jess Franco, tons more to come. Sexploitation, exploitation, erotica, underground, bizarre, horror, Pinky. It's all here, folks. Thank you so much. And please feel free to check out my own personal films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. Thank you and good night.